saying on all that, I guess my question is there another, perhaps a better mechanism to do that? Because the whole program is caught up now in litigation, and a lot of this legal argument is that it can't be a national emergency because of actions that the administration has taken elsewhere. So I wonder...
So I actually disagree with you. What is happening is there are opponents out there of the student loan debt relief who do not want to give middle-class family a little bit more breathing room. There are opponents out there, many of them are Republicans, who do not want us to make sure. They are upset that we are trying to help those very, very Americans. So that is what is happening. This is pure politics that we're seeing out there. It is not, and the way the president sees this is not partisan.
What is the criteria the country would have to meet for it not to be a national emergency, or is that even a goal?
So here's the thing, we cannot forget that COVID is still a problem. So again, we are still dealing with COVID. We're trying to do everything that we can to make sure that it continues to not be a disruptor, right? And the reason that it's not a disruptor is because of the work that this president has done in the last 20 months, okay?
President, if COVID was still a national emergency, and he said it's a necessity to deal with to make sure it doesn't become one. His answer would suggest that perhaps it's not a national emergency right now. So is it fair to call it a national emergency under the HEROES Act to justify student loan cancellation?
So the student loan cancellation, first and foremost, that was decided by the appropriate agencies. That was the tool that we were going to use to make sure that we give relief to Americans that need it. We should step back for a second and understand why the president took that action when it comes to the student loan. And we had the former administration who mishandled the COVID, the reaction to COVID, how we would move forward out of COVID. The last administration bungled that, really. And so the president took action when we lift up the pause that we gave people a little bit more breathing room. And that is where the student debt relief comes from. And we understand once that pause is lifted, there's still going to be people who are going to have a difficult time. And so just because we're in a different phase of the pandemic, as the president has said, COVID is still a problem. And so that's how we came to that decision to move forward with our assessment on how we're going to provide that student relief.
So Jake Sullivan said in September that there would be enormous amount of intensive diplomacy in the region in response to the wave of migration from Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. And I was just wondering if there were any updates from the administration on that diplomacy that he said would happen in the coming weeks.
With those specific countries?
Or with the region to handle that problem?
In October, I believe October 12th, we announced a deal that we made with Mexico. I don't have anything else to lay out or any other diplomacy coming from here, but that was a diplomacy that was really important and critical to us, to American people here, by having that agreement with Mexico to see how we can deal.
Does the White House view that new move as an expansion of Title 42, something that many Democrats have called for an end for?
So, look, again, what we have done this past couple of weeks with that particular agreement with Mexico has really benefited, as required by court order under the CDC's Title 42 public health order. We have to remember it's not an immigration order; it is a Title 42. CDC is indeed a health public order, and so that continues. That does not end.